welcome community to the 1st of February Ordinary Council meeting. This meeting is being recorded and broadcasted live, so I would ask people to refrain from any defamatory language. Thank you.
The acknowledgement of country. Councillor Douglas.
Yama, I would like to acknowledge the Wanneroo people, the traditional custodians of this land we meet on tonight. I pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, the traditions and the culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people across the nation. We have been elected by our community to deliver as our elders have in the past. I would also like to recognise the strong ongoing connection of First Nations people of the lands and waters where we do our work and their commitment to care for country.
Thank you, Councillor Douglas. Civic prayer, Councillor Barry.
Almighty God, from whom comes every good and perfect gift, we give you thanks for the blessings you bestow upon us in this Shire. Grant to those who hold office in this council the spirit of justice and truth, of wisdom and charity, that mindful of our responsibility and of the needs of those we serve, we may promote the true welfare of your people, exercise wisely and faithfully the authority committed to us, and advance the common good through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Okay, confirmation of meetings of previous minutes of previous meeting. Someone move on those. Councillor Bowditch. Apologies and leave of absence. I've got an apology from Councillor McNeil. Do I have someone to move? Councillor Bowditch. Someone second. Councillor Marshall. Confirmation of minutes of previous meeting. Councillor Bowditch. Someone second it. Councillor Marshall. Disclosure of any pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests. Councillor Mahajan.
Is item 11.1.
Item 11.1. No problem at all. That's noted. We have no public participation, no mayoral minutes, general business. Business arising from the previous meeting? No. 10.1. Officer's recommendations, environmental planning and assessment, statement of expectations, audit 2021. Council ensure appropriate resources are allocated to planning matters. Someone to move in that?
Also move.
Moved by Councillor Sculls, seconded by Councillor Leckie. Anyone to speak on to it? No problem at all. Moved on to number 10.2, membership of the Joint Regional Planning Panel. Council nominates the following people as Council's representatives on the Joint Regional Planning Panel. One, Councillor Kelly Sculls. 2, Miss Jacinda Ledman as the community member, and 2 councillors as alternate members.
Mr. Mayor, I wish to give amendment to the officer recommendation.
Yes. What's the amendment?
I would like to propose a resolution that item number 1 and the number 3 remain stay. In the relation of item 2, that we should be advertisement the position for the period for 21 days with requirement with the skill need to apply this position on the council website and the council Facebook page and the all local newspaper. The reason is that this position is, we mentioned that we did in the past and what we can't base on the past and they say that in the future we get the same result. This position is filled by the community member and we give them to fair chance to each and everyone to apply for this position.
So, you're moving on, just to confirm, it's Council nominates the following people as Council representatives on the Joint Regional Planning Panel. We don't have a screen, do we?
And Miss Kelly Sculls.
Kelly Sculls,
Staff member.
a staff member, and 2 councillors as alternate members, and to advertise
For 21 days.
21 days
So 21
for a community member.
for the community member.
Yes. So that's a motion put forward. Councillor Leckie. All those in favour, if you can raise your hand. All those against? Okay. That one's removed. The membership of the, sorry, we need 2 councillors nominated for that. The Joint Regional Planning Panel. Do we have any councillors wishing to nominate?
I'm happy to do it.
Councillor Sculls and Councillor Barry? Happy with that? Councillor Martins, those 2 councillors moved in. So we'll put that motion forward again. Those in favour, raise their hand. Those against? Okay. The establishment, 10.3, the establishment of the waste transfer station. Offer to enter into a planning agreement. Officer's recommendation is Council A, agree to the offer to enter into a planning agreement for DA 2021-55 for the payment of a contribution of 0.11 cents per tonne of material delivered to the proposed development. And B, request a condition of consent that the proponent enter into a planning agreement generally in accordance with the terms specified in the offer included as an attachment to this report.
Move the action.
Moved by Councillor Woodruff, seconded. Councillor Drayton. All those in favour, if you can raise your hand. Unanimous. It is moved. 11.1. Councillor Mahajan. Councillor Mahajan. This is 11.1. Sorry. The concept design for rehabilitation, Lawn Street, Muswellbrook.
Move the action.
Second action. Moved by Councillor Woodruff, seconded by Councillor Bowditch. Any dissent? Anyone? No? So that movement carried. What show of hands is it? This one, show of hands, sorry, show of hands. We'll do all, Jay.
Yes.
Moved.
Just wait.
No, that's what I found out. I might have to get a response.
11.2, Thomas Mitchell Drive, Denman Road intersection, Section 138 Roads Act 1993, permit approval. The office recommendation is council delegates to the General Manager authority to sign the S138 Roads Act 1993, approved for the works on the Thomas Mitchell Drive associated with the Denman Road, Thomas Mitchell Drive intersection, generally in accordance with the special conditions attached to this report. Councillor Woodruff.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to refuse this application on the grounds that I don't think the design of the intersection is appropriate for the safety of our residents within the Shire. And put down those dot points that we've mentioned in the briefing. The carriageway, the turning lanes, both back towards Muswellbrook and towards Denman.
Yes.
And that there should be a dual lane that goes all the way to the Bangala Road turn-off, and also protection for the traffic turning right and heading back into Muswellbrook.
For councillors, seconded by Councillor Sculls. Sorry. All those in favour of Councillor Woodruff's motion, raise your hand. Unanimous. Okay, so we move on to 11.3, the removal of level 1 water restriction. Council approves the removal of mandatory level 1 water restrictions for Muswellbrook, Denman and Sandy Hollow Town water supply, commencing Monday the 7th of February 2022, following notification of this approval through Council's website and social media platforms. Do we have someone move so that way? Councillor Lecky, Councillor Bowditch. All those in favour, if you can raise your hand. Unanimous. 12.1, Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee membership. Council's officers recommend Council nominates one councillor, not being the man, to join the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. Do we have anyone wishing to nominate for the ARIC membership for the committee? One. Mayor Councillor, not being the mayor.
I thought you would have
people organised. If you've got no one organised, I'll do it.
No, we were asking for nominate people to nominate.
No, I thought, yeah.
Is this for
I
the
thought you financed it.
Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee?
All qualified people to do it.
So that's what one you want to do, yeah?
Jennifer.
Jennifer? And do you still nominate?
I'd accept that nomination.
Okay, so we've got a nomination for Deputy Mayor Jennifer Leckie. All those in favour, if you can raise your hand.
Is there anyone else?
All those against? Oh, sorry, we'll do that again. All those in favour, raise your hand.
One, isn't it?
So you want me?
Oh,
Yeah, there's only one, so it's automatic.
They don't know.
Sorry. Sorry. I got confused when Rod put his hand up. My apologies. Okay, the 12.2, the Finance Advisory Committee membership. Council nominates 2 additional council members to sit on the Finance Advisory Committee, so we require 2 nominations per councillors. Is anyone wishing to nominate for the Finance Committee? Councillor Mahajan? Councillor Mahajan, we've got 1 nomination. Is there anyone else that wishes to nominate? Councillor Sculls. Okay, so we have 2. Is there any other nominations for those positions? Okay, with Councillor Mahajan and Councillor Sculls on the Finance Committee. State Significant Development Committee membership. The following councillors and staff be appointed as members of the State Significant Development Committee. The Mayor.
Could I mention that I've received a nomination from Councillor McNeil?
So we require 2 councillors to nominate for that position for the State Significant Development Committee. So we need. We have Councillor McNeil. We need someone.
I'll put my hand up, so as well.
Right. Anyone else wish to put their hand up? No, that's it. Councillor McNeil and Councillor Sculls. Nominated, moved. The Section 355 committees. Officers note the information contained in this report and reviews the following Section 355 committees as part of the Strategic Planning Conference scheduled for February 2022. The Future Fund Committee, the Muscle Bypass Advisory Committee and the Industrial Closures Committee. Do we have someone to move?
Should be.
I think that's just part of the process.
Just move that one. Seconded? All those in favour?
Barry.
Carried. 12.5.
Can I just check 12.3, which was the State Significant Development Committee, the nominations of Scholes and McNeil, were they moved and seconded?
Yes, that's right.
Yep. Pardon?
Moved and seconded.
Oh, the Finance Advisory Committee? Was not moved and seconded. So if we could go back to 12.2.
Moved. Yep. Councillor Leckie,
And-
Councillor Douglas, sorry. The Futures Fund Policy 12.5. Make a motion, an officer's motion. The Future Fund, a change to that, the Future Fund policy goes back to the new council for further review. That's a motion I'll put forward. Seconded by Councillor Leckie. Just have a show of hands, those in support. Those against? Councillor Woodruff and Councillor Sculls. Moved, carried.
Yep, it's carried.
The 2021-2022 Operational Plan 31st of December Quarterly Review. Operational Plan Review dated 31st December been noted. Do I have someone to move and second that? Someone to move?
Barry.
Councillor Barry, sorry. One that doesn't. Someone to second it? Councillor Leckie? All those in favour? Anyone against? Correspondence, councillor information contained in this report be noted. Someone to move that motion?
Yep.
Yep, Councillor Woodruff, second Councillor Douglas, all those in favour? Noted. 12.8, report on council grant funding and community engagement, February 2022. Council notes the information contained in the report. Got someone to move?
Yeah, move that one.
Moved Councillor Woodruff, seconded Councillor Sculls.
Again, commend the things that we have been commended on commending it again.
Ivan? Ms. Gaines, yeah. We know that.
Yes.
Okay, 12.9, reports on investments held at the... Yeah, we did. Yes. The reports on investments held as at 31st of December 2021. The information shows council's investments as of 31st of December 2021 be noted.
Possibly appropriate for vote.
Councillor Sculls, seconded. Councillor Lecky. All those in favour? Aye. Moved and carried. Moving on to just a moment. 12.10, December 2021 monthly financial reports. For officers' recommendation, financial reports for the month ending 31st of December 2021 be noted. Councillor Sculls.
Appropriate that I get that.
Councillor Sculls. Someone second the motion. Councillor Douglas. All those in favour? Those in. 12.11, the community services. The information contained in this report be noted. Moved by Councillor Bowditch, seconded by Councillor Lecky. All those in favour? Moving on to 13.1, the State Significant Developments Report held on Wednesday, the 3rd of November 2021. The minutes for the State Significant Development meeting held on the 3rd of November 2021 be noted.
I'll move that way.
Councillor Woodruff, Councillor Sculls, all those in favour? Moved and carried. We have no public participation. Oh, sorry. It's moved on you. 14.1, notice of motion and rescission. We've got a recognition of service motion.
That's 14.1.
14.1, Councillor Woodruff, do you wish to speak?
No, yes, Mr Mayor, I wish to move the following motion. Muswellbrook Shire Council present a certificate of service to the following past councillors in recognition of their dedicated service to the Shire of Muswellbrook, its peoples and community. Councillor Jacinta Ledlin, Councillor Stephen Ward, Councillor Janella Eads, Councillor Jason Foy, Councillor Martin Rush, Councillor Scott Bailey and Councillor Michelle Green. I'll move that way, Mr Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Woodruff, seconded by Councillor Sculls. All those in favour? Moved and carried. 14.2, I'll move to defer this motion until the next meeting of council. Councillor Neil not being here, so that we move to the next meeting, being that one. Question? I've got someone to second that motion.
To defer.
Councillor Bowditch, those in favour? 50 questions with notice. 15.1, fencing for Muswellbrook Skate Park motion. Sorry, I'll get back over to this one. My apologies. Councillor Mark Bowditch, you've put forward a question in relation to the bollards over at, do you wish to speak to that item?
Yes, Mr Mayor. With the roundabout, the people coming out of the Coles car park and the vehicle and speed vehicles come down Rutherford Road. If anyone wants to go and stand there for a little while, we'll see. Many vehicles are actually blocking up and passing through into the roundabout. Right opposite where you come out of Coles, you have the kids' skate park, and there's a lot of things people say. You know, anyone could be T-boned there. They could have a medical episode, and if they hit the accelerator, they can go up over the footpath, up through the fence. There's only a pill fence there stopping that car going on to the skate park where we've got kids and everything all the time. People might say, oh, it's a what if. The school in Sydney 2 years ago was a what if. 7 kids injured, 2 died. You got the childcare centre, again, was in Sydney, not Muswellbrook, but no bollards. They were asked to put bollards in the front of a school entry near the car park. They deferred it. A car had a episode and went through. So I move that we take this as a priority for our safety of our community and the kids.
You're just suggesting that the bollards be put along there?
I'm suggesting that the bollards be put along there to protect the kids from an event that may and possibly would happen in time, as a priority to protect our community.
So council notes the information contained in the report and requests that the grant funding opportunities are sought in relation to the provision of the safety barrier bollards or fencing at the section of Rutherford Road adjacent to Muswell Skate Park, and will consider the project for inclusion in the 2022-23 Capital Works program.
I have a question.
Yes, Councillor.
If it's a question with notice, it can't be a motion. It's one or the other.
It's
You
not a
can't
motion.
raise a motion
Sorry.
off a question. So the question's been asked.
I've just asked the General Manager for clarification
Yep.
on that one.
Thank you for your question with notice, Councillor Bowditch. The reply that's provided there for councillors is that council currently has not budgeted for the installation of the safety barrier bollards or fencing in the section of Rutherford Road adjacent to the skate park, and provides 3 options that are open to council for these projects. There are 3 options provided there, and including the consideration of this project for inclusion in the 2022-23 Capital Works program. I recommend that this be considered when councillors are looking at their priorities for the 22-23 Capital Works program.
I think what Councillor Woodruff you're trying to ask is the motion as attached to a question with notice.
I don't think you can have a motion attached to a question with notice. So it's
There's an
either-
answer that's provided
Correct.
and a recommendation.
Can't then become a motion.
Yes.
Can't then become a
Councillor
motion.
Bowditch can ask the question.
He can provide an answer, but he can't provide it.
So that's okay. Sorry. So you happy to move on that? It shouldn't have the word motion there. So happy to move on that?
Sorry, I'm new to this. Are we allowed to ask questions
You
or
wish to speak
on
to it?
that?
Yes, you can speak to that.
Okay. I think one of the concerns I have, children's safety obviously is really important, and I understand that these things can happen, but I think the biggest issue we have currently in that area is the kids actually climbing the fence and running across the road to Coles, scooting across the road on their scooters, going across the road on their bikes. That's more, to me, presents a bigger danger to our community. I don't know about anyone else, but I can't tell you how many times I've had to hit my brakes on kids rushing across there, and the people from Coles have said the same thing. So I think if we're going to be looking at it, then we look at it as a structurally thing, something that is going to make a difference. Is bollards the way to go, or do we have an opportunity to relook at this and think about what's going to be more suitable, because we don't want to be risking the kids jumping those fences and jumping the bollards as well.
There's no motion to it, but you may speak.
No, I just want to actually agree with the end, is that the problem is greater than the traffic going into the car park. It's the kids coming to the car park out of the traffic as well. So I think it is an issue, and I think potentially the 22-23 Capital Works program is too late. So I'd kind of like to look at the whole thing from a whole safety
So investigate
risk
the whole-
assessment, the whole thing as a risk assessment thing,
Yep.
because even within that, you've got a fencing or bollards, you've jumped to a solution without truly identifying possibly the risks, and that you've really got to look at the risks, identify the risks, and then develop answers for those risks. But again, as I said, I still think deferring to the 22-23 Capital Works program, I think we should be, as councillors, asking council officers to investigate other sources of money where any works that are aside from that risk assessment can happen as soon as possible.
We'll ask council staff for a report on that as soon as possible. So we'll add that to that item, councillor.
Yeah, I'm happy for it. You know, I don't want to see just parked and nothing done with it. So if that report can come back to the next council meeting and move on as soon as it comes. As I say, again, it's the kids' safety, our children's safety.
Yeah, I witnessed the market level.
Yeah, maybe so we just get an investigation and the report comes back to council.
Yeah.
And that way.
Investigation to come back to council. Are you happy to move on that?
Yeah.
Can I just add to that too? Maybe look at lighting as well.
Sorry?
The lighting as well, because it is quite dark there at night.
Okay, well, I think that'll form part of the risk assessment, so we'll pass that on to council staff to do. So, we've got it noted. There's no motion, it's just council notes the information contained in the report. And
So do you want us to say move, Clint?
Yeah, and an investigation.
Shall we note the
Yes.
response and ask that the investigation happen?
Correct. So someone to move that.
Bowditch.
Councillor Bowditch, someone to second it.
Yeah.
Show of hands.
Well, at the end,
Deanna.
Yes, yeah, that's, favour, raise your hand. Sorry. Questions with, no, sorry, councillor reports. Any, councillor Barry?
I just want to commend the Australia Day function that was put on with all the staff involved. It was a really good day, really well organised, not the easiest of situations considering COVID, but it was really well set up, and I really enjoyed the day out, so congratulations to all the staff that were involved in organising and arranging that for the day.
Thank you.
Any other councillor reports?
I just want to add to that too. I want to congratulate the council staff for the inclusion that was involved in on the day of our culture, and it brought the fact to you know, that we are partnered, we are all here together, and that really showed. So I want to thank the staff for that, and also want to thank the staff for the response on some emails on some works that needed doing around town. The council staff are fantastic at responding to those works as well, and getting them done. You know, they need to be thanked.
Ask for the first one and the second one address that. Thank you, councillor Bowditch. So, any other councillor reports? No? Okay, moving on. Questions for the next meeting? Do you have any questions for the next meeting? Item number 25.
Just the process for works requests.
What's the process for works requests?
Well, we used to have a dedicated line, and then just the process, I suppose. I'm annoying the GM and Derek at the moment, but we used to have where we could call in or email a works request, and then we had a process where
We can provide a response for the next meeting.
we get replied to say, yes, we've got it, and how long do it. So rather than harass the senior staff, I just thought it'd be, for everybody's benefit, there should be a process that we can put a works request in.
There is the website, which we have been using, and as councillors, there is also that hub facility that we can use. But the council can provide a report, but we are working on it at the moment, and some handout information from the community members on how to go about doing that as well directly. So
We used to have a phone line, and then councillors had an alternative where you could lodge a works request, and it went through a process where first off you'd be responded to let you know that somebody got hold of it, and then there was a timely response on what the outcome was going to be. So you could go back, like if we have a request for something from a community member, then we go through the channels, but as I say, that phone line no longer exists, and we don't have the works request form as part of the council web anymore.
Yeah, that's going back up on the website, the form, but there is the hub side of it which won't educate the community on it at the moment.
So we got
Request form sitting on mine.
It's a service request.
On your hub,
Yeah.
for the councillor, I guess what Councillor Greenwood was trying to say is in relation to his direct contact for works request if he doesn't have his hub available, so we'll get a response for that. Any other questions?
I just want to add to that as well. So, you know, like we've been discussing making it easy, that it should be, the community shouldn't have to approach one of us all the time about getting, you know, a pothole fixed or curbing or any of those things. I just feel that the community should know how they can quickly take a photo on their phone and upload it to something and get a response themselves as well, without us having to be the middleman all the time. I've been inundated with messages from the community about roads, footpaths, different things like that. I just think if we have a system and we promote it professionally and properly to the community, how they can shortcut that, take that photo, upload it themselves, and they can get a response, if possible, of what.
There currently is Councillor Douglas' system. It's just the education process that we need to go to, but council can provide a report. And
Through the chair, I'll just make a commitment that we'll provide that information before the next council meeting, we can be sending you some detailed information about how to direct those inquiries that come directly to yourself, so that you can send them on, so that they can find a quick
I've got a very
access.
good one. Extremely good. Just with councillors, when you're replying to an email that's been sent out by the staff, can we not reply all unless it's relevant that you reply all? Because if I haven't read that particular thing and you reply all, it goes all the way down the bloody system. And if you happen to actually open it on your phone and not on your computer, you lose the attachment.
That's no question. We'll
It
address
is-
it. We'll address it.
It is, if you don't have to reply all, because there are times when you need to reply all.
Yeah.
But if
We'll
you don't
address
have to reply all, please don't.
We'll address that. Question, with any other questions with notice?
Just got a question on it.
Yeah, no, it's-
But,
Is this a question? Sorry?
with the, yeah, but just got a question.
Yes.
How we done with the vessel place? So, anything or
Council,
anything or?
we'll take that on notice and provide an update for councillors in the interim, so.
Can I ask a question? I asked a question earlier about how is council going with an app development that we can supply to the community with upcoming works that we are scheduled, so the community can go to that and see, like our neighbouring council does every week. They put a schedule on, and plus the app, develop the app where people can download the Muswellshire Council app. We touched on it 5 years ago. I don't know if it's still something that can be still floating around and moving forward and get that happening.
I think we discussed that at the council strategic planning weekend, and we are making a note to take that notice. Later question.
It's
Two-pronged
listed.
question: the app, and in relation to better social media. Is that what you're saying? To terms of relaying the message.
Yeah. So we've got the council's got the website up, which is really great. A lot of people are using it, reading it. A lot of the same post is the comment coming up with the same post is there. But if we can start putting on there at the beginning of the week,
The works
works program for the week, that'll give people an insight that council is actually planning moving forward. We are doing what's for our roads and maintenance, parks and gardens and stuff.
Noted. Yes, taken on. Any other questions for the next meeting?
Yes, can I have a... Can I have another one, or I have two?
Council Bowers.
Can I ask for a report at the next council meeting on how many trainees that we have or looking at putting on for council in the near future, like for the next intake, if or none?
Yeah, we'll address that. That's noted, and we'll get council staff to come back with a response to that.
I should just note that's all these questions for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's it. No more.
So no more questions for the next meeting? All right. That's
Otherwise, we'll call him Uncle Ray.
6:33, and note that the closure of the meeting. Thanks everyone. Thank you to members of the public that have come along. And
Also, how many days? Did everyone